The first puppy emerged at 3:17 a.m., and Dr. Elena Martinez thought it would be routine. She was wrong. The German Shepherd, abandoned, starving, covered in scars, kept pushing. Second puppy. Third. Fifth. 10th. Elena's hands trembled as she counted. 15. 20. 25. This was impossible. German Shepherds have 6 to 8 puppies maximum. But as the 27th puppy took its first breath, Elena's scanner detected something that made her blood freeze: military-grade microchips embedded in 12 of them. Her veterinary clinic was drowning in debt. The bank was foreclosing in 30 days. And she'd just become the guardian of the most valuable, and most dangerous, litter of puppies in the country. Outside, a black SUV idled in the darkness, waiting. Elena grabbed her phone with shaking hands. She needed backup. She needed answers. And she needed to figure out why this dog had traveled 300 miles to die giving birth at her doorstep, the same clinic where Elena's husband had died 3 years ago under mysterious circumstances. Leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments, along with the city you're watching from. Now let's continue with the story. The debt notice arrived on a Tuesday, because Mondays weren't cruel enough. Elena stared at the red letters stamped across the foreclosure warning: final notice, 30 days TO vacate. $95,000. The number had grown teeth over 3 years, feeding on interest and her failure to look at it directly. The Martinez Veterinary Clinic, David's dream, her prison, was dying the same slow death she was. 3 years ago, this waiting room had been full. Families with healthy pets, routine checkups, the occasional emergency that she could actually fix. Now the yellow chairs sat empty, gathering dust and memories. David had proposed to her in that corner chair. She'd said yes while stitching up a beagle named Rocket. That was before the accident. Before the police report that didn't add up. Before "animal rescue mission gone wrong" became the phrase that ended every conversation about her husband. Elena hadn't cried in 847 days. She'd counted. The rain started at 9:47 p.m., turning the parking lot into a mirror of black water. She was alone, always alone now, running inventory she couldn't afford to restock. Her assistant had quit 2 months ago when the paychecks started bouncing. The knock came softly. 3 taps, deliberate. Elena froze. No one visited after dark. No one visited at all anymore. Through the glass door, a figure stood hooded against the downpour, cradling something large. A dog. Trembling, soaked, barely standing. Elena's instincts overrode her fear. She unlocked the door. The hooded figure, face hidden, voice distorted by rain and fabric, thrust the German Shepherd forward. The dog collapsed at Elena's feet, ribs visible through matted fur, scars crisscrossing her body like a roadmap of suffering. "She knows the way home," the figure whispered. "Wait, who are you? What happened to?" But the figure was already gone, swallowed by darkness and rain, a vehicle engine roaring to life somewhere beyond the parking lot lights. Elena knelt beside the dog, hands moving automatically, checking pulse, airways, obvious injuries. The shepherd's breathing was labored. Malnourished. Pregnant, extremely. And those eyes. Elena's breath caught. Amber. Intelligent. Devastated. Exactly like Ranger's eyes. Ranger. The military service dog David had been rescuing the night he died. The dog that vanished from the scene. The dog the police claimed never existed, despite David's final phone message: "Elena, I found him. I found Ranger." They've been. The message had cut off. David's body was found 6 hours later at the bottom of Mercy Point Cliff. Accidental fall, they said. Case closed. Elena's hands trembled as she lifted the dog onto the exam table. The shepherd's eyes tracked her movements, trusting despite everything. "You know something," Elena whispered. "Don't you? You know what happened to him." The dog whimpered, then shifted, a spasm of pain rippling through her distended abdomen. "Labor. Starting now." Elena grabbed her phone, called the only person who still answered. "Ryan, I need you at the clinic. Now. Something's wrong." "Something's." The shepherd convulsed. The first puppy was coming. And Elena had no idea she was about to deliver an impossibility. Ryan Mitchell arrived 17 minutes later, still in his off-duty flannel, rain dripping from his jacket onto the clinic floor. He'd been David's partner once, before the department reassigned him after asking too many questions about the accident. Now he worked patrol and answered Elena's calls at 10 p.m. without hesitation. "How many?" he asked, moving to the exam table where 27 puppies nursed in carefully arranged rows. 27. Elena's voice was hollow. She hadn't stopped shaking since puppy number 15. Ryan's face went pale. "That's not possible." "I know." The mother dog, Elena, had started calling her Hope somewhere around puppy 12, because she needed something to hold on to, lay exhausted but alert, amber eyes tracking every movement near her impossible litter. Elena had cleaned her, started fluids, performed the basic assessment. Now, with backup present, she could examine what she'd been too afraid to see clearly before. She parted the fur along Hope's left shoulder blade. Ryan leaned closer. The brand mark was precise, professional, G1. "Genesis 1, Ryan breathed. "Jesus, Elena." Elena moved her hands along Hope's body, documenting what the initial chaos had hidden. Surgical scars, some old, some recent, running along the abdomen and hindquarters. Modification scars. She'd seen them once before, in a textbook on illegal veterinary practices. Uterine enhancement procedures. Hormone manipulation. Genetic tampering. Someone did this to her on purpose, Elena said. Engineered her to carry an impossible litter. Ryan pulled out his phone, photographing the brand mark. "I've seen patterns like this. Military animal trafficking rings. They breed dogs for black ops, private military contractors, genetic research." David was investigating. He stopped. "Say it." David was investigating a breeding operation before he died. He never told you because he didn't want you involved. But he'd found something. A facility. He was planning to rescue dogs the night he fell off a cliff. Elena's voice was ice. Ryan met her eyes. "He didn't fall, Elena. We both know that." The puppies shifted, and Elena forced her attention back to them. She'd been so focused on the quantity she hadn't examined them individually. Now, under the surgical lights, the differences became obvious. 12 puppies were larger, darker, with oversized paws and unusually developed muscle structure. Their eyes had opened already, impossible for newborns. When Elena ran the scanner over them, each one pinged, military-grade microchips, worth more than her entire clinic. The other 15 were smaller, normal markings, standard development. Natural. 2 different fathers, Elena whispered. Or 2 different genetic lines. They bred her with modified males and natural males simultaneously. Ryan crouched beside the table, studying the puppies. "These aren't just dogs, Elena. These are weapons. Living, breathing, million-dollar assets. And whoever owns them is going to come looking. As if summoned by his words, headlights swept across the clinic windows. A black SUV, moving slowly through the rain, circling the parking lot once before stopping at the far edge, engine idling. Hope's ears flattened. A low growl rumbled from her chest, not the sound of a frightened animal, but a trained soldier recognizing enemy contact. Elena's phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text message appeared. You have 24 hours to return our property. After that, we come inside. Ryan's hand moved to his service weapon. Elena, we need to move these dogs. Now. Where? I can't even pay my electric bill. I don't have resources to hide 28. Then we find someone who does. Ryan was already dialing. Because in 24 hours, whoever sent that message is going to kill everyone in this building to get those puppies back. Hope placed her head protectively over her litter, amber eyes fixed on Elena. The same eyes that had watched David die. Dr. Catherine Lang arrived at 7:43 a.m., perfectly pressed white coat over designer clothes, carrying a briefcase that probably cost more than Elena's monthly rent. She didn't knock. Just walked through the unlocked clinic door like she owned it. Dr. Martinez. Her smile was professional, cold. I'm Dr. Lang, veterinary consultant for Arcturus Research. I believe you have property that belongs to our facility. Elena had been awake for 28 hours straight, running on coffee and adrenaline. She'd moved Hope and the puppies to the secure back room, away from windows. Ryan had left at dawn to pull records, make calls, find allies. I don't know what you're talking about. Lang set her briefcase on the reception desk, clicked it open with manicured fingers. Inside, a tablet displayed Hope's image, professional, clinical, labeled Subject G1, Genesis Protocol. That German Shepherd was stolen from our research facility 3 weeks ago. We've been tracking her. The microchips in her puppies confirm ownership. Lang's voice stayed pleasant, reasonable. We're prepared to compensate you for your trouble. $200,000. Cash. Today. The number hit Elena like a fist. $200,000. Enough to pay off the debt, save the clinic, stop drowning. David's dream could survive. What kind of research? Elena kept her voice steady. Genetic optimization. Breeding programs for enhanced service animals. Perfectly legal, FDA approved, contracted through. Through who? Lang's smile thinned. That's proprietary information. What matters is that dog and her litter are valuable research assets. We need them back. The compensation is generous, Dr. Martinez. Especially for someone facing foreclosure. Elena felt the weight of the wedding ring against her chest. David's voice echoed in her memory, some things are worth more than money. No. Excuse me. She's not for sale. None of them are. That dog was abandoned here, in distress, pregnant. She's under my medical care now. And those puppies aren't going anywhere until I know exactly what you did to their mother. Lang's professional mask cracked. You're making a serious mistake. Our facility has legal claims, federal contracts, resources you can't imagine. You're a small-town vet drowning in debt. You think you can fight this? Get out of my clinic. Lang snapped the briefcase shut. You have until tonight to reconsider. After that, things become complicated. She paused at the door. Your husband made the same mistake, Dr. Martinez. He thought he could play hero. Look where that got him. The door closed with a soft click. Elena's hands were shaking so hard she had to grip the desk. Lang knew about David. This wasn't random. Hope hadn't appeared by coincidence. David had died investigating these people. The day crawled past in paranoid silence. Elena checked the lock 17 times, kept Hope and the puppies close, jumped at every sound. Ryan called twice. He'd found connections between Arcturus research and a name that made her blood freeze. Marcus Volkov, former military contractor, suspected of running illegal breeding operations across 3 states. Night fell. Elena was checking the puppies when the power cut out. Complete darkness. The backup generator should have kicked in immediately. It didn't. Glass shattered in the front room, window, not door. Professional. Fast. Hope was up instantly, body between Elena and the sound, teeth bared. Not barking. Silent. Military discipline. Footsteps. 2 people, moving with tactical precision through the dark clinic. Elena grabbed her phone, dialing 911, but Hope was already moving. The German Shepherd launched through the doorway like a weapon, and Elena heard the impact, body hitting floor, man screaming, the wet sound of teeth finding throat. Call her off. Call her. Hope didn't stop until the intruder went silent. The second person ran. Doors slamming, engine roaring, tires screeching away. Elena found the light switch, hands trembling. The man on the floor was unconscious, breathing but bleeding from defensive wounds on his arms. Hope stood over him, utterly calm, blood on her muzzle, eyes asking permission for the next command. This wasn't a pet. This was a soldier. Elena saw it then, on the reception desk. A note, placed deliberately before the attack. You have something that doesn't belong to you. Last warning. Sirens wailed in the distance. Ryan had probably heard the call go out. But Elena was staring at Hope, understanding crystallizing. David had found this dog. Had tried to save her. And they'd killed him for it. Now Hope had brought the war to Elena's doorstep. The police took 3 hours to process the scene. The intruder, unconscious, no ID, lawyer already en route, was transported under guard. Ryan stayed behind, helping Elena board up the shattered window while Hope watched from the doorway, protective and unnervingly calm. That dog saved your life, Ryan said, hammering the last nail. Military attack training. Throat strike, controlled force, tactical assessment. She's worth more than any amount they offered you. Elena was exhausted beyond thought, running on fumes and fear. She'd moved Hope and the puppies to her small apartment above the clinic, safer, more defensible. Now, at 2 a.m., she sat on the floor surrounded by nursing puppies while Hope finally relaxed enough to sleep. Elena's hands moved automatically, checking each puppy, documenting their development. The 12 chipped ones were growing at an alarming rate, already twice the size of their natural siblings after just 2 days. When her fingers brushed Hope's collar, she felt it. A seam. Wrong texture. Not part of the original leather. Elena's pulse quickened. She worked carefully, finding the hidden pocket stitched into the collar's inner lining. Inside, a micro SD card, smaller than her thumbnail, sealed in waterproof plastic. Her laptop was old, barely functional, but it read the card. Encrypted files. Password protected. Elena tried the obvious, David's birthday. Wrong. Their anniversary. Wrong. Ranger, the dog David had been rescuing. Wrong. Then, barely breathing, Elena. The files opened. Video logs. Documents. Photographs. All time-stamped, all narrated in David's voice, a voice she hadn't heard in 3 years except in dreams. Day 47 of infiltration. I've confirmed the facility location. Arcturus Research is a front for Marcus Volkov's illegal breeding program. They're modifying dogs at the genetic level. Enhanced aggression, increased muscle density, accelerated growth. Military contracts worth hundreds of millions. But the dogs. Jesus, what they're doing to these animals. Elena's hand covered her mouth. David's face on screen, exhausted, angry, determined. Recording in secret, risking everything. Day 63. I found her. Subject G1. They call her Genesis. First successful carrier of the Enhanced Embryo Protocol. She's pregnant with 27 puppies. They've manipulated her biology to carry multiple genetic lines simultaneously. She's suffering, Elena. They don't see her as alive. Just an incubator for weapons. The files continued. Evidence of federal contracts with falsified approvals. Genetic modification protocols that violated every ethical standard. Dogs bred to be aggressive, loyal, disposable. Living weapons sold to the highest bidder. Then the final video. David's face, beaten, bleeding. Recording from somewhere dark. If you're watching this, I'm dead. They found out. Volkov knows I'm DEA, not a buyer. I tried to get Genesis out, but they caught me. I'm uploading everything to her collar chip. She's the evidence, Elena. The puppies will prove genetic modification. The chip proves the conspiracy. David's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I'm sorry I couldn't come home. But I trust you, Elena. You're stronger than you know. Finish this. Expose them. Save her. He smiled, broken and beautiful. I love you. I've always loved you. Trust Elena, girl. She'll finish this. The video ended. Elena couldn't breathe. Hope, Genesis, raised her head, amber eyes meeting Elena's with perfect understanding. You heard him say my name, Elena whispered. That last command. Trust Elena. You've been carrying his investigation for 3 years. Waiting. And you traveled 300 miles to find me. Hope moved closer, pressing her scarred head against Elena's chest. The files showed the facility location, 287 miles north, hidden in coastal mountains. Volkov's operation. Where David had died. Where 30 more dogs were still suffering. Elena pulled up the final document. David's notes, written like a letter. Elena, Volkov has government protection. Local cops are compromised. The only way to stop this is exposure. Get Genesis to someone who can't be bought. Federal prosecutor, FBI, national media. The puppies are proof. Their DNA will show modification. The chips will show ownership. Genesis herself is the smoking gun. I'm sorry I left you alone. I'm sorry I couldn't save everyone. But maybe you can. Finish this, love. For Ranger. For Genesis. For every dog they've destroyed. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up. D. Elena sat in the dark apartment, surrounded by 27 impossible puppies and one scarred soldier dog who'd carried her dead husband's final mission across 3 states to find her. She'd spent 3 years running from grief. Now grief had found her, wearing a collar with David's last words hidden inside. Ryan needed to see this. The world needed to see this. But first, she needed to figure out how to keep hope and 27 living pieces of evidence alive long enough to expose the people who'd murdered her husband. Dr. Sophia Chen arrived at dawn with 2 duffel bags, a satellite phone, and the kind of calm that came from treating grizzly bears with tranquilizer darts. She'd been David's partner in the wildlife division before he went undercover, and she'd driven 11 hours straight from Portland after Ryan's call. "Show me the files," she said, no preamble, no sympathy. Just the efficiency Elena desperately needed. They sat around Elena's cramped kitchen table, Elena, Ryan, Sophia, while Hope stood guard by the door and the puppies slept in makeshift nests throughout the apartment. Elena played David's videos. Sophia's face remained stone, but her hands clenched tighter with each minute. "I told him not to go alone," Sophia said when the final video ended. "He thought if he brought me, it would expose us both. He wanted someone outside who could act if things went wrong." Her voice cracked. "I should have followed him anyway." "He was murdered," Ryan said flatly. "I knew at the moment I saw the scene. Fall trauma inconsistent with the cliff angle. Defensive wounds documented then buried in the report. I tried to push for homicide investigation, they transferred me to patrol the next week. Captain told me to let the man rest in peace. I've spent 3 years knowing I failed him." A knock interrupted, 3 soft taps. Elena's heart hammered, but Ryan checked the peephole and relaxed. "It's Maggie." Maggie Torres was 73, lived 2 doors down, and had been leaving casseroles outside Elena's door for 3 years despite being on a fixed income. She stood in the hallway holding a canvas shopping bag, gray hair pulled back, wearing a threadbare sweater. "I heard glass breaking last night," Maggie said. "And I see the boarded window. And Ryan's police car has been here for 2 days. So either you're in trouble, or you're doing something important." She held up the bag. "Either way, you need food. And I'm a good liar if anyone comes asking questions." Elena felt something crack in her chest. "Maggie, this is dangerous. People are. I'm 73 years old, dear. I've buried 2 husbands and raised 4 children on welfare. I'm not scared of dangerous men." Maggie walked past her, set food on the counter, then noticed Hope. "Oh. That's why they're coming." Sophia was already running calculations. "We need to separate the chipped puppies from the natural ones. Move them to different locations. Split the evidence so if they find one group, they don't get everything." "Won't work," Ryan said, pulling up data on his laptop. "I traced the chip registrations. Each one is worth $50,000 on the black market. 12 chips. 600,000 total. That's not just research assets, that's liquid capital. Volkov has probably already sold contracts on these specific puppies. Buyers are waiting. If he doesn't deliver, he loses everything. So he'll never stop hunting them," Elena said. "Never," Ryan confirmed. "He can't afford to. This isn't about pride. It's about survival. If those puppies disappear, his entire operation collapses. Buyers lose trust. Contracts void. He's facing financial ruin and probably federal investigation once those buyers start asking questions." Sophia leaned back, thinking. "Then we don't hide. We attack. Use David's evidence to expose the operation before Volkov can move against us. Federal prosecutor, FBI field office, major media outlet. Hit all three simultaneously so no single point of contact can be compromised or silenced. We need proof the dogs match David's documentation, Ryan said. DNA analysis, chip verification, veterinary assessment of genetic modification. That takes time and resources. I know someone, Sophia offered. Wildlife Forensics Lab in Seattle. Owes me a favor. Can fast-track DNA analysis if we get samples there by tomorrow. Maggie was organizing the food, utterly calm. You'll need someone to watch the apartment. I can do that. I don't sleep much anyway. Elena looked at these three people, a wildlife vet risking her career, a cop who'd been punished for asking questions, an elderly neighbor on a fixed income, all volunteering to fight $1 million trafficking operation because it was right. She'd spent 3 years believing she had to save everything alone. David's last message, Elena said quietly. He told me I just had to show up. Not be perfect. Not save everyone. Just show up. Sophia met her eyes. So we show up. Together. Hope walked to Elena, pressed against her leg. 27 puppies and 1 scarred soldier dog. $600,000 in stolen military assets. A dead husband's final mission. Okay, Elena breathed. Let's finish what David started. The foreclosure notice arrived by courier at 9 a.m., certified and final. 14 days. The bank had accelerated the timeline, citing security concerns and property damage from the break-in. Elena read it 3 times, the words blurring together. 2 weeks to vacate the clinic David had built with his own hands. She spent the morning on the phone, desperate. Emergency veterinary loans, denied, credit too damaged. Small business relief funds, denied, missing application deadlines she'd been too exhausted to track. Personal loans, denied, denied, denied. Each rejection another nail in the coffin. By noon, she was sitting in her empty clinic, surrounded by boxes she couldn't afford to fill, staring at the yellow chair where David had proposed. The black Mercedes arrived at 12:47 p.m. Marcus Volkov stepped out like he owned the parking lot, the building, the entire town. Tailored suit, silver hair, the kind of smile that probably closed billion-dollar deals and buried witnesses with equal efficiency. He walked through Elena's unlocked door without knocking, carrying a leather portfolio. Dr. Martinez. I'm Marcus Volkov. I believe we have mutual interests to discuss. Elena stood slowly. This was the man who'd killed David. She knew it with cellular certainty. Get out. Please. 5 minutes of your time. Volkov sat in the yellow chair, David's chair, uninvited. I understand you're facing financial difficulties. Foreclosure in 14 days. Debt exceeding $95,000. No viable income streams. It's tragic, really. Your husband built something beautiful here. You have 4 minutes. Volkov opened the portfolio, displaying a cashier's check. Elena's breath caught. $1 million. Made out to Elena Martinez. Dated today. $1 million for the German Shepherd and her litter. You pay off your debt, save the clinic, rebuild your life. Everyone wins. The dogs are valuable research assets, but they're worth more to me in terms of operational continuity than they are in actual market value. I'm prepared to overpay significantly for a clean transaction. Elena's hands trembled. $1 million. Financial freedom. David's legacy saved? The answer is no. Volkov's smile thinned. Dr. Martinez, I admire stubbornness to a point. But your husband's stubbornness got him killed. He couldn't see the bigger picture. He thought he could disrupt an operation that serves national security interests, that protects American military advantage. He was wrong. You murdered him. I protected vital assets from theft. Your husband was DA. He infiltrated my facility under false pretenses. He stole proprietary research. When confronted, he resisted. These things happen in high-stakes operations. Volkov leaned forward. I liked David, actually. He had conviction. But conviction without pragmatism is just suicide. Elena felt ice spreading through her veins. You're admitting you killed him. I'm admitting nothing that could be proven. I'm simply explaining reality. Volkov stood, placing the check on the reception desk. You have 14 days to lose everything. Or you can take this check, sign a non-disclosure agreement, and move on with your life. Those are your only options. There's a third option. Which is, I expose everything. David's files. The genetic modifications. Your buyers. Your federal contracts. All of it. Volkov's expression didn't change, but something cold flickered in his eyes. You think you're the first person to threaten me with exposure? I have senators on speed dial. Federal prosecutors who owe me favors. Media outlets that depend on defense industry advertising. Your husband had the same files, the same evidence, the same righteous anger. Where is he now? He walked to the door, then paused. Oh, one more thing. You applied for 7 emergency loans this morning. All denied. Do you know why? Because I own 40% of Pacific Regional Bank, the bank foreclosing on your property. I expedited your foreclosure timeline. I ensured your loan applications were flagged. I've been engineering your financial collapse for 3 weeks, Dr. Martinez. Since the moment that dog arrived at your door. Elena's world tilted. He'd been controlling everything. The timing, the pressure, the desperation. You have 14 days, Volkov said. After that, the bank takes the building. You'll be evicted. The dogs will be seized as abandoned property on foreclosed premises. And I'll acquire them legally, through the city pound, for the cost of impound fees. Roughly $300. He smiled. Or you take the $1 million and walk away. Your choice. But choose wisely. Your husband made the wrong choice. I'd hate to see you make his mistake. The door closed with a soft click. Elena stood alone in David's clinic, staring at a check for $1 million and understanding with perfect clarity, Volkov had been playing chess while she was just trying to survive. She picked up her phone. Ryan answered on the first ring. He just offered me $1 million, Elena said. And he admitted he killed David. Did you record it? Elena closed her eyes. No. Then we have nothing. And 14 days. The storm hit on day 12, 2 days before foreclosure. Lightning turned the sky purple, rain hammering the boarded windows like fists demanding entry. Elena had moved Hope and all 27 puppies back to the clinic. Maggie's apartment was too small, too exposed. At least here she could defend a single position. Sophia was in Seattle with DNA samples. Ryan was meeting with a federal prosecutor who might listen. Maggie had gone home at Elena's insistence, too dangerous for an elderly woman. Elena was alone when the back door lock clicked open at 11:34 p.m. She grabbed the baseball bat from behind the desk, heart hammering. Hope was already moving, positioning herself between Elena and the sound, puppies clustered in the secure room behind them. Dr. Catherine Lang stepped through the doorway, soaked from rain, carrying a veterinary sedation kit. No gun. No backup. Just desperation in her eyes. "Don't," Lang said, voice shaking. "Please. I just need the puppies. I'm not here to hurt you. You broke into my clinic. I don't have a choice." Lang moved closer, hands visible, non-threatening. "Volkov gave me 48 hours. He's moving the operation. Shutting down the facility. If I don't deliver the puppies, her voice cracked. He has my daughter. Emily. She's 15. He'll kill her, Elena. He's done it before." Hope growled, a sound like distant thunder. "So you're going to steal them? Drug them? Ship them back to that monster?" "I'm trying to save my child." Lang's professional mask shattered. "You think I wanted this? I was David's friend. I introduced him to the operation because he said he wanted to invest. I didn't know he was undercover. I didn't know." The words hit Elena like a physical blow. "You set him up." "I didn't know." Tears streamed down Lang's face, mixing with rain. "Volkov found out David was DEA. He made me call David, tell him I'd found evidence at the facility. Tell him to come alone, at night. I thought Volkov just wanted to talk, to buy him off. I didn't know he was going to. You led my husband to his death." Lang's hands trembled on the sedation kit. "I've lived with it every day for 3 years. But Emily is innocent. She's 15 years old and Volkov has her in that facility right now. If I don't bring those puppies, she dies. So yes, I'm going to take them. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I choose my daughter." Something primal surged through Elena, rage, grief, 3 years of suppressed fury. She swung the bat. Lang dodged, stumbled backward. Hope launched forward, teeth bared. Elena heard herself screaming, incoherent, attacking the woman who'd murdered David by proxy. The bat connected with Lang's shoulder. Lang fell, gasping. Hope was on her instantly, jaws closing around Lang's throat, not biting, not yet, but ready. Waiting for Elena's command. "Do it," Elena whispered. "Kill her." Lang's eyes met Elena's, no longer fighting. "I deserve it. But Emily doesn't. Please. Save my daughter." The facility is at Mercy Point North, Old Logging Road, mile marker 47. Basement level. 30 dogs. Emily's locked in the office. You have 48 hours before he moves everything. Blood pooled beneath Lang's shoulder where she'd hit the corner of the exam table falling. Too much blood. Elena's medical training kicked in through the rage, arterial damage, possibly fatal. Hope, release. Hope backed off immediately, standing guard. Elena knelt, hands moving automatically to assess Lang's injuries. Torn brachial artery. Lang was dying. "Why did you come alone?" Elena demanded, applying pressure. "Because I couldn't let anyone else become a murderer for my mistakes." Lang's breathing was shallow. "Volkov thinks I'm bringing you a final offer. He doesn't know I'm here. Emily thinks I'm on a business trip. If I die, She has no one. Elena's phone was in her hand, dialing 911, even as part of her wanted to let Lang bleed out on the clinic floor. Justice for David. Payment for betrayal. But David's voice echoed, "You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up." "Ambulance is coming," Elena said. "You're going to live. And you're going to testify against Volkov. You're going to tell them everything. He'll kill Emily. We'll get her first." 48 hours, you said. We have time. Lang's eyes widened. You'd save her. After what I did. Elena thought of David. Of hope. Of 27 puppies bred as weapons. Of a 15-year-old girl held hostage for her mother's sins. "I'm not doing this for you," Elena said. "I'm doing it because David would have. Because showing up matters. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard." Sirens wailed in the distance. Lang grabbed Elena's wrist, bloody fingers desperate. Mercy Point North. Mile marker 47. Basement entrance behind the loading dock. Volkov's there now, packing research. Security is light, he's moving fast, trying not to draw attention. But in 48 hours, everything disappears. The dogs. The evidence. Emily. Everything. We'll stop him. You'll need an army. Elena looked at Hope, at the puppies, at the clinic David had built. Then I'll find one. They left at 3 a.m. with a plan held together by desperation and 48 hours of sleepless preparation. Ryan drove his personal truck, no police involvement, too many questions, too many compromised officials. Sophia sat shotgun with tranquilizer equipment. Maggie insisted on coming despite being 73, carrying bolt cutters and a crowbar. Elena rode in back with Hope, who'd been agitated since they'd loaded her, recognizing the route north. She knows where we're going, Elena said. David brought her from this facility. She remembers. Mercy Point North appeared in the headlights like a scar on the mountain, old logging infrastructure repurposed, isolated, unmarked. Mile marker 47. Ryan killed the lights, coasting the final quarter mile. The facility was smaller than Elena expected. Single building, concrete and steel, designed to be invisible. 2 vehicles in the lot. Loading dock active, men moving crates, working fast. Light security, Ryan whispered. Lang was right. He's prioritizing speed over protection. They waited in darkness, watching patterns. 3 guards rotating 15-minute intervals. Loading crew focused on the dock. Basement entrance exactly where Lang described, behind the facility, partially hidden by overgrown vegetation. Sophia moved first, silent and efficient. Elena followed with Hope, whose entire body had gone rigid, combat-ready. Maggie and Ryan took rear guard. The basement door was locked. Maggie's bolt cutters made short work of the chain. They descended into fluorescent hell. The smell hit first, urine, fear, infected wounds, despair. Then the sounds. Whimpering. Panting. The shuffle of bodies too weak to stand. Elena's veterinary training cataloged horrors faster than her mind could process. 37 dogs in cages designed for 12, surgical scars, emaciated bodies, eyes that had given up hope. Jesus Christ, Sophia breathed. Hope walked between the cages, deliberately, methodically, making eye contact with each dog. Not whimpering. Commanding. Elena watched in stunned silence as something passed between them, recognition, hierarchy, orders. Hope was organizing them. "Elena, look at this." Ryan stood at a computer terminal, downloading frantically. Government contracts. Department of Defense. Homeland Security. Federal law enforcement agencies. He's been selling to everyone. And here, David's original infiltration reports. Volkov kept them. Probably as insurance against his buyers. Elena found the office. Emily Lang sat on a cot, alive, terrified, 15 years old with her mother's eyes. "Are you here to kill me?" "I'm here to take you home." That's when the lights went out. Emergency backup kicked in, red emergency lighting turning everything crimson. Alarms screaming. Volkov's voice over the intercom, "Dr. Martinez. I'm disappointed. I offered you $1 million and a clean exit. You chose this." Armed guards flooded the basement. For men, tactical gear, weapons raised. Ryan moved instantly, tackling the first guard. Sophia deployed tranquilizer darts. Maggie threw herself between Elena and a guard raising his gun. The shot was deafening in the confined space. Maggie stumbled, blood blooming across her sweater. "No." Elena caught her, lowering her to the concrete. Hope didn't hesitate. She hit the guard like a missile, taking him down, and the basement erupted into chaos. The caged dogs were howling, throwing themselves against barriers. Hope grabbed cage latches in her teeth, popping them open with practiced precision. Dogs poured out, malnourished, traumatized, but following Hope's commands. It wasn't random. It was coordinated. Military precision. Volkov appeared at the top of the stairs, flanked by 2 more guards. "You've destroyed millions of dollars in research. Compromised federal contracts. Stolen proprietary assets. You think you're heroes?" Ryan charged up the stairs, colliding with Volkov. They went down together, brutal and close. Elena dragged Maggie toward the exit, applying pressure to the wound. "Stay with me. Maggie, stay with me." "Finish it," Maggie gasped. "Get the evidence." "I'll be fine." Sophia was herding dogs toward the exit, using food and calm commands. Emily helped, terrified but functioning. The dogs followed Hope's lead, trusting her completely. Elena reached the computer terminal, grabbed Ryan's flash drive, verified the download was complete. David's files. Government contracts. Genetic modification protocols. Everything. Volkov broke free from Ryan, grabbed a gun from a fallen guard. Aimed at Elena. "It ends here, Dr. Martinez. You, the evidence, all of it. Just like your husband." Hope was 20 feet away, coordinating the last dogs out. She could escape. She could run. 37 dogs were already free, following Sophia. Hope turned. Saw Volkov aiming at Elena. And made a choice. She charged across the basement, launching herself at Volkov as the gun fired. The bullet meant for Elena hit Hope's shoulder instead. She didn't stop. 70 pounds of fury and loyalty and 3 years of carrying a dead man's final mission slammed into Volkov, taking him down. Ryan secured the gun. Sophia and Emily had the dogs outside. Elena was on her knees beside Hope, hands covered in blood, Maggie's, Hope's, guards. "No. No, you don't get to die for me too. Not you." Hope's amber eyes met Elena's. The same eyes that had watched David die. The same eyes that had traveled 300 miles to find her. "He sent me to you," those eyes said. "And I chose to stay." Sirens wailed outside, real sirens this time. Ryan's federal prosecutor had come through. FBI, state police, federal agents flooding the facility. Volkov was screaming about lawyers and contracts and immunity. Elena lifted Hope, injured but alive, and carried her toward daylight. Behind them, 37 dogs followed, and Maggie was on a stretcher, and Ryan was in handcuffs alongside Volkov, and the sun was rising over Mercy Point North. They'd done it. They'd finished what David started. The trial lasted 6 weeks. Marcus Volkov was convicted on 47 counts including murder, racketeering, animal cruelty, and federal contract fraud. 3 senators resigned. A Department of Defense procurement officer took a plea deal. Dr. Catherine Lang testified from a hospital bed, her immunity contingent on complete cooperation. She'd live, and Emily would have a mother, though neither would ever forget the cost. Maggie spent 12 days in ICU. The bullet had missed her heart by 2 inches. Elena visited every day, sitting beside the bed, and Maggie would squeeze her hand and say, "Stop looking guilty. I chose to be there." That's what showing up means. When Maggie finally came home, she moved into the apartment above the clinic, the one Elena had occupied alone for 3 years. "I'm not letting you isolate yourself again," Maggie said. "Besides, someone needs to make sure you eat." The foreclosure never happened. Emily Lang, 15 years old, grieving her mother's choices, searching for redemption, launched a crowdfunding campaign with a video that went viral. "Dr. Elena Martinez risked everything to save my life and expose a criminal operation." Her husband died investigating this case 3 years ago. Now she's losing the clinic he built because she chose justice over a $1 million bribe. Please help us honor David Martinez's legacy. The campaign raised $340,000 in 9 days. The bank debt was paid. The clinic was saved. Elena cried for the first time in 847 days, sitting in the yellow chair where David had proposed, finally letting grief and gratitude coexist. Hope's shoulder healed over 3 months. The veterinary surgeon said she'd never fully recover, but Hope moved like she'd never been injured. Soldiers adapt. The 27 puppies thrived under Elena's obsessive care. At 3 months old, the 12 chipped ones were massive, twice the size of their natural siblings, displaying intelligence that bordered on unsettling. Elena couldn't keep them all. She knew that. But she refused to let them go to just anyone. Ryan helped coordinate placements. The 12 enhanced puppies went to verified veteran organizations, therapy dogs for soldiers with PTSD, service animals for disabled veterans. Each adoption was documented, tracked, protected. Sophia established a monitoring program, ensuring they'd never be exploited again. The 15 natural puppies found homes with families Elena personally vetted. She kept 2, Atlas and Mercy, who'd bonded so fiercely with Hope they couldn't be separated. The grand reopening happened on a Saturday in October. The sign above the door read, "David Martinez Memorial Veterinary Clinic, where showing up matters." Sophia joined as a partner, splitting her time between wildlife work and the clinic. Ryan stopped by most evenings, officially to check security, unofficially because the clinic had become the place where people who'd survived trauma together gathered to heal. Emily volunteered weekends, learning veterinary basics, building something clean from her mother's wreckage. Catherine Lang would be released in 5 years. Emily visited her monthly, navigating forgiveness at 15, a weight no child should carry, but she carried it anyway. 6 months after the raid, Thanksgiving arrived cold and bright. Elena's clinic, their clinic now, overflowed with people. Sophia prepared turkey in the small kitchen. Ryan carved, telling increasingly ridiculous stories from his patrol days. Maggie orchestrated everything from a chair, recovered but still healing, bossing everyone with affectionate tyranny. Emily set the table, laughing at Ryan's stories, wearing a veterinary volunteer shirt like armor. Hope lay near the fireplace, surrounded by Atlas and Mercy and 4 veteran handlers who'd driven hours to spend Thanksgiving with the dog who'd saved their service animals. They sat on the floor, talking quietly, hands resting on fur, finding peace in the presence of a soldier who understood. Elena stood in the doorway of the clinic, the one David had built, the one she'd almost lost, the one they'd all saved together, and felt something she hadn't felt in 3 years. Completeness. Not because she'd saved everyone. Maggie still limped. Hope would always carry scars. Catherine Lang was in prison. David was still dead. But she'd shown up. And so had they. Sophia caught her eye across the room, raised a glass. To David. Who taught us that showing up matters? To David, they echoed. Elena touched the wedding ring on the chain around her neck. She'd never take it off. But she'd also stopped wearing grief like a uniform. Hope walked over, pressed her scarred head against Elena's leg. Those amber eyes, the ones that had watched David die, that had carried his final mission 300 miles, that had chosen to stay when freedom was 20 feet away, looked up with something Elena could only call peace. He sent you to teach me, didn't he? Elena whispered. That I don't have to save everyone alone. That accepting help isn't weakness. That showing up is enough. Hope's tail wagged once, deliberate. Ryan called everyone to the table. 23 people crowded into a space meant for 12. Elbows bumped. Laughter overlapped. Atlas stole a roll. Emily told a terrible joke. Maggie corrected Sophia's turkey technique. Someone proposed a toast. Someone else started crying happy tears. Elena sat at the head of the table, David's place, the one she'd left empty for 3 years, and finally understood his final gift. Not just evidence. Not just hope. Not just the mission. But this, community. Connection. The knowledge that she didn't have to carry everything alone. Outside, snow began to fall on Mercy Bay. Inside, the David Martinez Memorial Clinic was full of people who'd shown up for each other. And Elena Martinez, widow, veterinarian, guardian of impossible puppies, finally believed she deserved to be saved too. Sometimes showing up is enough.